We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
Now for the news. Today in the news all across our media, you'll get it across your Facebook and all of the internet. And what it's going to tell you today is we have a storm coming. It has never happened before across anywhere in Ontario, but all of a sudden we have a storm coming for the first time here in Canada, where we have all four seasons, and it's going to be with rain. Believe it or not, it's going to maybe have some hail. Oh my Lord, we better call over the National Guard like we're over in fucking Knoxville or somewhere, maybe over in Asheville, where all of a sudden they get a centimeter, here comes the National Guard. Or maybe what we should do is turn around and maybe do this. This would help out Ontario, like over in maybe Niagara Falls, and especially here in a shithole called Hamilton, Ontario. What they're gonna do and should do is maybe bring out the salt trucks a little early. Yeah, we have a thing called salt out here that they don't like to use. Also in the news is more fear of your pandemic that's been going on for 3 years. Please make sure you get your boosters. Please make sure you get your vaccination shot for, of course, meningitis. The flu's back now all of a sudden. Don't forget you have to also get it for everything else they have. You know, don't forget we took away a thing that we used to have before, and now we brought it back. We have new variants coming out all of a sudden. I don't know how they keep coming out. Maybe this one came from a baboon's ass. They keep making them up out of nowhere. All of a sudden, please, for your safety, go out there and get your boosters. We have wasted over billions of dollars on this, of your tax dollars, because you don't agree with our narratives. I have no idea why they would do that. Why would we want to not agree with their narratives? Well, what we're going to do now is go over to me. I think I've done a few videos out here.
Good day, everyone. We're going to ask Google a couple of questions. Because after all, as a person running for Premier of Ontario, I am known as a consumer.
That part's not true. I did not put my name in. I already knew that I wasn't going to get any recognition. It was almost like I was already part of the PPC party.
So is Google right? Are your scientists right? Let's find out what's really going on. Google, where did influenza come from?
According to Wikipedia, the given name from...
Again, where did influenza come from?
According to ABC News. Answer: influenza is a virus that spread from person to person. It originates, actually, among birds and other animals such as pigs, and new viral strains of influenza come to this country and to Europe from Southeast Asia.
So, we are asking Google where it came from. So, we're going to watch this video right now.
The name influenza comes from the Italian word for influence. It goes back to the 1500s when people didn't know what caused these epidemics of coughing and headache and muscle ache and death.
Nobody knew about virus.
It's called the cold, which we've been having for years and generations.
Did you notice how they went from viruses, though, to variants? Do you notice how all of the diseases that they had during the time of this pandemic, they were all numbers until they gave them a name? For an example, the one from Wuhan, China, the one from India, the one from Brazil, the one from the UK, all of a sudden they just keep coming out of nowhere. And all along I've been saying that they've all came from one thing, a lab. Let's keep changing everyone and changing everything to confuse you.
So people believe that their health would be determined by the stars and the influence of the stars on our bodies. And now we know it's not stars, it's something even stranger, which is viruses.
Viruses. Is that what they want us to believe? Where before, it was called the pandemic.
All influenza viruses,
Always research done in China.
came originally from wild bird viruses. And not just any wild birds, but birds that are considered to be waterfowl, like ducks and geese, or shore birds. And these birds are what we call the reservoirs of influenza.
Is that what they want you to believe? So, how many people are really eating these birds?
Billions and billions of these birds in the world. Many of them migrate, and influenza viruses circulate in them all the time on an ongoing basis. And by and large, these viruses don't harm these birds.
So if they don't harm those birds, why would they not be testing those birds?
This area is Michael. It is an area that Robert stayed. Then we refuse to collect eco sample from the wild bird. It's a program that
Eco sample from the wild bird. So how many of us are eating that from the wild bird? I don't think too many of us are eating bird shit. So what they do is they take it back to a lab, experiment until they come up with H1N1, SARS, and all the rest. Just like they came up with, of course, hepatitis A and hepatitis B. The never-ending story. You are running out there to get your shots. There's more coming, I can promise you.
Monica, is there any?
Is there more coming? They haven't stopped. It's been going on for 3 years. They keep coming out. This one's coming out. This one's coming out. We are going to spend billions of dollars on needles because we are part of it all. How many of your government people behind the scenes, because it's all held private, under private sector, private meetings, private this, private that, of our dollars are really being stolen?
And the virus in the birds. There's many birds fly from different countries during the season change.
Bird with the virus. And it doesn't affect the bird, but it affects the people. But none of them do experiment on a bird, just the feces.
Yeah, like Hong Kong, maybe carry the virus.
But instead of them checking out the bird, to maybe find out why it doesn't affect the bird, and maybe that it might be a cure to something. No, I shouldn't mention that word. I might get charged from, the Drug and Food Administration. This is why we don't have the cures out here for cancer, which there is. Diabetes, there's one plant, if I say it, they won't show the video. This is why I can't say it. That is curing people all over European worlds and everything, except for here. They want you to take insulin. It is all about money, people.
These birds are by nature migratory species. They move to a place like my boy Hong Kong in the winter months, and then they go back up north in the summer months. And so you basically have a way in which these.
So what the Chinese government is knowing is that the birds go from north to south all the time, which we're all aware of. But are they able to inject these birds with other diseases? They don't have to go that far. Let's pay more attention.
Just can be moved north and south and east and west. It is important to keep track of these viruses out there in nature.
It's in order to keep track of these viruses in nature, when you keep experimenting with them, you kill millions of people. I've said it before and I'm going to say it again. We are not at war with a country. We are at war with our government. We have the American government, the leading sellers of all vaccination shots along with China. Why would we want to keep it going?
So we are trying to anticipate what influenza viruses can cause pandemic threats for the future. So this proactive surveillance helps us to try to keep one step ahead of this virus.
So after the virus is knowing, why do you have to keep a step ahead on a virus when you keep experimenting with the viruses and knowing that they're going to get out with a lab? How ridiculous could you get? But it didn't tell us where. So really, it's not about viruses, it's about variants today. Like I said, the government likes to change it. Let's remember, because of this not being worse than SARS back in 2004, 697 people died during that time. They gave out medication, they gave out everything. This time, they canceled 1.5 million operations per year here in Ontario. That's how ridiculous it was. This year so far, because they won't bring back the unvaccinated doctors and nurses who are the most experienced, who know how to save lives, they decide to want to bring in a bunch of new people and go, no, we have so many people more dying. We have 500,000 people coming in here a year into Canada. We're going to build hospitals, but we're not going to build and have nurses and doctors working there. This makes a lot of sense from your federal and Ontario government. So is this really enough proof that they're really poisoning us through all of it? You think I've done a few videos out here? I don't know. I think I've brought out the news, the never-ending story of the pandemic controlled. Just look at all the garbage. How do I fix stupid? Maybe this might help you out why I don't believe in it. Our health doctors.
This video is called Caught on a Hot Mic. Even though our government wants us to believe they're health professionals, maybe we have reasons of not believing any of them. Let's see what we're talking about.
She never looks at the paper. This is their health experts. She never looks at the paper. Then why the hell are you there? What information are you giving us when you're just reading what they're giving us? For some reason, they want me to believe in this pandemic.
Oh, isn't that just special?
Well, there's a reason why I won't believe Justin Trudeau, who is making billions of dollars over this. There's a reason why I won't believe Doug Ford, whose business went from 5 million all the way up to 100 million, because he does all the pandemics and does all the floor work for it. I was wondering why his people were getting overtime. This is the real news coming out at you. From me, a person running for the PPC party, and if not, you're guaranteed I will be coming out with the Lone Wolf Party this year, because you never know, Jamaad Singh might decide to go against his girlfriend Justin Trudeau and call an early election to where none of them will be there anymore. Do you really think that's going to happen? Do you really want to listen to the Conservative Party? I don't think so. This has been the news.